We are really thrilled to have the chance to chat with a guy whose career has spanned decades and who's appeared on so many of the shows that we run on MeTV, especially Lost in Space. He's an actor, a musician, and of course an author. Say hello to Bill Mumy.
Hey, Sven. Great to see you, man. What's the deal here? I see you're still stuck in that dungeon. What did you do to have them lock you up down there, man?
No, Bill. This is actually our dungeon studio. Listen, we wanted to talk with you to hear about your new memoir, Danger Will Robinson, The Full Mumy.
Oh, well, Sven, Next Chapter Publishing, those folks locked me up in a dungeon here at Mumy Manor. And I was forced to write this book for 6 months straight. They wouldn't let me out. It's quite an ordeal, really. I wrote it all by myself, and it covers a lot of territory. And the thing about my career, besides it being quite long, is the connectivity in so many different arenas and eras. The 50s, when I was working with classic movie stars and directors from the 30s and 40s, and then into the 60s with so many different television shows, westerns, comedies, sci-fi, cop shows, lawyer shows, doctor shows, and of course Lost in Space. And then, of course, into the 70s and 80s and beyond with other science fiction and feature films and comic books and music projects. But the story is really about my connectivity to so many different eras and styles of entertainment.
Well, you've worked with so many great actors in movies and TV, and you talk about them in the book, like Dustin Hoffman, Steve McQueen, Cloris Leachman, as well as your Lost in Space cast. And you have fascinating stories about them all, as well as directors like Alfred Hitchcock. And I especially liked reading about things you experienced as just a young boy starting out and how you played roles like Anthony in the great Twilight Zone episode, It's a Good Life.
Sven, it's good that you mentioned that. It's real good. Because if you hadn't, I would have had to send you to the cornfield. And you wouldn't like that. But as you pointed out, Sven, I have worked with so many iconic talents. Walt Disney, Lucille Ball, Jack Benny, Jimmy Stewart, Bridget Bardot, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Ringo Starr, Brian Wilson, Steve Ditko, all these people that have my career crossed over into. And the stories in the book concentrate a lot on behind the scenes, my relationships with these people and some of the madcap adventures that happened behind the camera.
That sounds great. And of course, we're all fans of Lost in Space, and you've included stories about that show and its actors.
Indeed, Lost in Space. It does compute. Seriously, though, from the beginnings of the pilot that Irwin Allen created and directed back in 1964 to currently working as the real Dr. Smith on the new Lost in Space television series, I have certainly stayed connected to Lost in Space. And of course, the book delves into my personal relationships with everybody, from the original cast to the new cast. And, I love Lost in Space. I loved being Will Robinson. I love that guy. I'd play Will Robinson again in a heartbeat if I was asked. Although that might be pathetic.
No, not at all. And, you also talk about your music, and I had an idea. Maybe we could do a duet sometime.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks, Sven. I'd much rather hear you just sing solo. So low that no one can hear you. That's an old joke, and I'm sure you've already worn that one out, buddy, but I couldn't resist.
In that case, I'll just continue to sing solo. The name of the book is Danger Will Robinson, The Full Mumy, from Next Chapter Entertainment. A really entertaining book that gives everybody an inside look at the life and career of Bill Mumy. Bill, always an honor to chat with you.
Oh, thank you kindly, Sven. It's been great to be with you again. I hope you get to stay in your dungeon for a long, long time. And I mean that. In the best way. Really. I think.